guys, I'm back. My hair's a mess and I'm ready to go. Welcome to Good Stewart Homestead. Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome back to Good Stewart Homestead. It's been a while, but I'm still here. So we're up in the sewing room again and I thought I would just talk while I work. So we've had Thanksgiving and Christmas and now we're waiting on New Year's to show up. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and I wish you the best in the new year. Yeah, I kind of disappeared for a couple of months, but it was one of those things where um, it was just so busy with all the holidays and everything that was going on, and work was really stressful, and we were battling sicknesses and just a lot going on here, and so just trying to get a video out for all with all that going on just was impossible. So I just kind of took a break from YouTube for a little while as far as making videos. Um, but I'm really hoping that once the new year starts, then I can get back to making videos and just talking about the homestead. We've got a lot of projects that we're hoping to get done in the new year, and we're just going to keep going. So yeah, I'm up in the sewing room again today. I'm really hoping to get this project done before I have to go back to work on the 2nd. And it is a prairie dress, and I'm just really hoping to get it done. It's Butterick pattern, B4570. So there you go. Sorry you can't see that too well, but yeah, so I'm just making the dress. I've got the material to make the apron and the bonnet too, but right now I'm just worried about the dress. And I got some more buttons to organize and a new apron pattern, and so yeah, I'm just trying to get things done. Just trying to get the dress part done right now, because I have to go back to work on the 2nd. So I'm really enjoying the time off. For getting some of these indoor projects done, and just being able to relax and rest, because work has been really stressful with the holidays, and a lot of people taking off work so they can have extra time with their family, and so it just makes it really stressful. So gosh, what have I been up to? What have we been up to? Well, I didn't think you guys would want videos about the everyday cooking, cleaning, laundry, that sort of thing. So I kind of stayed away from all of that, because to me that's not very interesting. But we did have a lot of issues, or not a lot of issues, but I have been having some trouble with my car. Right now it needs a new map sensor, which is not too bad, and I think my oldest nephew offered to help switch that out when I get a new one. Yeah, and then I had to have some help switching out the oil pan on it, and so it's just been one thing after another with that car. And so yeah, and then besides that is just dealing with the sickness that comes with this time of year. There was at least 1 week back in November where I was just very sick, and that's pretty typical for me. It usually starts out as a nasty sinus infection, but for whatever reason, when I get a sinus infection, it just kind of takes on all of the characteristics of a flu without the fever. So, and it's just because there's so much drainage and so much swelling in my sinuses that it just makes me sick all over. And all of this drainage and congestion and everything typically upsets my stomach. So I end up getting sick to my stomach when I'm dealing with all of this, and then just trying to cough all of this up or sneeze it out or something like that, it just turns into a nasty, ugly mess when I get sick. So I really try very hard not to get sick. And that's the reason why, is because when I get sick, it's all over. Teresa's also been having some health issues. She has fibromyalgia. And I know the back and forth with the weather and the pressure in the atmosphere and all that, that has done a number with upsetting her fibromyalgia and all of that. And so she's really been struggling physically ever since the weather started changing back in the early part of the fall. So she's been struggling with her health and energy levels and all too. And that in turn means that I have to help out more. So now you're getting kind of an idea of what we've had going on, and why I just haven't bothered with any videos here recently. And that's the reason why, is with everything we had going on, YouTube videos were kind of on the bottom of the priority list, so it just didn't get done. So what else? Back in November, we put our Nigerian dwarf does, our girls, in with our buck. And we know, and we left them with the buck for the whole month of November. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. My throat was getting a little dry there. But we left our does in with our buck the entire month of November. We know our black doe, Boudica, as some of you may remember her from previous videos, she is a super duper 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 great breeder goat. And we put them in the first day of November. The buck covered her 3 times that day, and we were able to catch that each time. So we've gone ahead and marked the calendar for her to be due on April the 1st. So we're hoping for April Fool's babies with her. Now, we did not see the other 2 girls cycle that month, but we know that they were in with the buck at the same time. We left them the entire month of November to try and, make sure that they went through a cycle while they were with him. And so we're hoping that they also bred, and that will give us more babies in the month of April. So starting the end of March, going into the first part of April, we will be on baby goat watch, especially with Boudica. And we're pretty sure that she is probably pregnant with multiples. At least that's what we're hoping, fingers crossed, because it is the end of December and she is already looking big and pregnant. So either she's got one monster big baby in there, or she is going to have multiples and she is already looking very pregnant. And that's also last April, and we always try and breed for early spring babies. But with her last year, Boudica gave birth to quads. So she had 4 babies. Out of those 4, only 1 survived. That was little Una, if you remember her from previous videos. And we ended up giving Una to some friends of ours as a bottle baby. But she was the only one that survived out of that group last year from Boudica. We did get rid of 3 of our girls. We got rid of Aoife. She was our herd queen and she was a bully. We also got rid of Bridget and Bethany. So we got rid of all 3 of those because they were bullying our other does, and we were thinking that that was the reason why Bronwyn and Anya ended up miscarrying last spring, was because those 3 does were the bullies, and they were really bullying Bronwyn and Anya the worst. So with that in mind, we got rid of those 3 females because we did not want bullies in our herd, especially when we're trying to breed babies. So we're hoping that this year Bronwyn and Anya, because that only gives us Boudica, Bronwyn, and Anya left as females, and then we still have Parker as one of our bucks, and we have Granger as our breeder buck. And so with that in mind, we're trying to give Bronwyn and Anya a chance to be good breeders. But if they're not successful this year, then we'll probably be looking to sell those girls as well. And then we'll need 3 new does instead of just 1. So that's the other thing is out of this breeding this year, if we get a doe that we like, we're considering keeping her as a breeder, because we can either breed her to Parker or we can breed her back to Granger, because we're okay with breeding a father to a daughter, or I guess it would be a daughter to a father, but we don't want brother and sisters breeding. So we had intended to use Parker as a breeder with Boudica. We can't use him with Bronwyn or Anya because they're half siblings, and we don't want to do that. But when we put him in with Boudica, he was too short to reach her. I guess that's the nicest way I can put that, was he was too short to be able to reach her. So we ended up putting all the girls with Granger again this year. And then none of the girls are related to Granger, because Bronwyn and Anya were some of Seamus's girls. So Seamus was the breeder buck that we had before Granger. You'll see Seamus in some of my first videos, but we got rid of Seamus because Seamus became a bully as well, and we just couldn't work with him. I mean, we could wrestle him to the ground if we needed to, but he was over 100 pounds. We had to wrestle him to the ground a lot of the times to try and work with him as far as like trimming his hooves and that sort of thing. But he also, whenever any of the girls were in season, he would headbutt anybody that came down there. So we didn't want to risk someone getting hurt with him, because sometimes we have friends that bring their young children to come see the animals here at our homestead, and we just did not want to risk one of those sweet babies getting hurt with that buck, and because he would just plow into you and knock you to the ground. And like I said, he was a little over 100 pounds, and so all muscle, and so you can just imagine that could hurt a small child, especially. I mean, it doesn't feel good to an adult to get hit with a buck, but we definitely did not want any children getting hurt by him. So unfortunately, we sold him. We also sold Fergus, because Fergus, he was the, you know, they have like a pecking order in the herd, and Seamus was definitely the main buck, and Fergus was a secondary, or however you want to call that, in the pecking order. And so we really don't think he was breeding with our girls, so that meant he had to go too, because he wasn't doing his job at that point. So anyway, I am not getting anything done on this, so let me try and work and talk at the same time. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, with that all in mind, that kind of catches, there we go, straight pins. So with all of that in mind, that is where we are at with the goats currently. Then that gets you updated with the goats. So we're hoping for babies in April. So mark your calendars if you want to keep up with our goat births, because I usually try and do a video with those. But we will be expecting Boudica in particular to give birth somewhere around April the 1st. And then with the others, we don't know exactly when or if they were bred, but we're keeping an eye on that. So if we find out that they did indeed breed, then I can update you guys with that later on. But Boudica we know for sure is pregnant because she is already getting big. We are in, let's see, what else can I update you guys on? Our turkeys are doing well so far. So that's good. Sorry, I'm kind of off camera with that, but I was pinning the bottom of this. I'm just working and talking at the same time, so if I kind of move around or I move off camera, don't worry about it, because I'll pop back on. But yeah, so the turkeys are doing well. We're really kind of watching the weather as the new year rolls in, because as some of you may know, we do have an Arctic blast that is supposed to be coming through the first part of January, which means our temperatures here are going to get very, very cold. We have been watching different weather reports all weekend because of that, because they are calling for a chance of some winter weather coming through that first full week of January. We have not had, here in North Carolina where I'm at, we're in Cleveland County, and we have not had a significant winter weather event for several years now, so we are overdue for a big one. I can remember growing up, it was like almost every 5 to 7 years we would have a significant winter event like snow, and it would be several inches. And I know you guys, if you live up in the north or if you're from the north, northern states and everything, you're like, that's no big deal. You know, why do you guys panic down there? Okay, it's because we only have a significant weather event every 5 to 7 years generally. But it has been, I can't even tell you how long it's been. It's been years and years since we had a significant winter weather, and I mean more than a couple of inches with frigid cold temperatures. Because where we are, we're in zone 7B. Where we're located, North Carolina is considered to have a subtropical climate, which means our winters are very mild, our summers get really hot. So for us, any kind of winter event is a big deal for us, because we do not have that on a normal basis. For us, we might get a couple of flurries or something like that during the winter, which is just a couple of inches, but even that shuts the whole place down, because we just don't have weather like that. I mean, we literally do not know how to function in that kind of weather, because we don't have that kind of weather. So so there you go. For all you guys that are watching that may be from up north of us, or you grew up in the north and you moved down here, that is why we freak out when there's winter weather. It's because it is not normal for us to have winter weather, and we have not had serious winter weather in several years. Especially the last 5 years, we have not had any snow. Now we get plenty of rain in the winter months, but we have not gotten snow. So we literally just don't know how to deal with that kind of weather down here. I mean, we can deal with hurricanes, we can deal with, well, minus the most recent one, talking about Helen. But tornadoes, okay, yeah, we can kind of bounce back from those, that sort of thing, not that big of a deal for us. But winter weather is an extremely big deal for us. So With that in mind, and especially with the Arctic blast that they keep calling for, they're talking about our temperatures dropping down into the 20s, possibly some teens, particularly at night. So for us, that is going to mean really keeping an eye on our outdoor animals, making sure that they are okay. And if we do, I really hope we get snow. I don't want ice at all. But we'll see. Right now, the last report we watched right before bed last night said that um, they were looking for something to happen around January the 6th. So the first part of that first full week of January, and then the very next weekend, around the 11th or 12th, they were also watching those dates for the potential of something to happen there. So, yeah, so that's going to put us on weather watch for the first part of January. I can't remember how long this Arctic blast is supposed to be here coming through, but I know the first wave of cold temperatures was supposed to come somewhere around the 4th or the 5th, going into the 6th. So that one they weren't too worried about, but it was the second wave of cold temperatures that was supposed to be coming in the very next weekend. Again, that's around the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere around in there was the one that they were really watching, that they were really expecting to get really frigid cold here. So we're also hoping that that doesn't knock out our power. Again, that's why we don't want ice, because ice will knock out our power. Yeah, so we're just kind of, and we have a way to stay warm here in the house. It may mean closing off the bedrooms and closing off these upstairs rooms up here, but we do have a way to stay warm in the house. So I'm not really worried about us or our inside cats or our inside dog, but it's our outdoor animals that we're really going to have to keep an eye on to make sure that they're okay. And if it does snow any significant amount, then that means that we're going to have to go out there probably multiple times to knock snow off of the coverings over our animal enclosures and stuff like that so that they don't collapse. So we'll see. So now you understand why we're on weather watch. And for us, because we haven't had a significant winter weather event in several years, and the winters and everything have been relatively mild for the last several years. I am just really praying that people in our area are prepared for the worst. So we hope for the best, we pray for the best, but we prepare for the worst. So I really hope that people in our area are keeping an eye on this and watching it, because hopefully it doesn't cause too much problem for us down here. And I would advise any of you, if you live in the southeast at all, to really be watching the weather over the next several weeks, because it's not just our state that's going to be affected by this Arctic blast, it's the entire southeast. And like I said, that is just very, very unusual for anybody. My little heater in the floor is making me hot. So the sweater's gotta go. And yes, I am wearing an Amish dress, but am I Amish? No. Christian, yes, I go to a Baptist church, but I actually found, if you go on Etsy, there's a store called the Amish Clothesline, and this is one of their work dresses. Love them. They're just so simple and so pretty, and they're extremely comfortable, and I actually bought several. I've ordered from them 4 different times, and out of those 4 times they sent me a free dress 3 times, so I have like 7 of them. And I actually got some money as a part of my Christmas present, and I actually bought one more dress. So if you're interested in that, you want some really pretty, like, wear around the house dresses, and these are so nice that I would actually wear these to church for services and stuff. So that's another thing is, and they all come with a little matching apron that goes with them, and like I said, they're super comfortable. But anyway, moving on. I'm not getting anything done. I'm talking too much. So that's the goats, weather, car, Amish dress. What else can I tell you guys about? What else have we been up to? Just the day to day. Washing clothes, doing laundry, washing dishes, cooking, getting ready for the holidays. And I really hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas holiday. We enjoyed ours. It was relatively quiet. We had lunch at my mom's brother's house on Christmas Eve, like we do every year, and that's just a really nice way to kind of get caught up with mom's side of the family. And then Christmas Day, we usually do our thing with my sisters and my mom and everybody in our immediate family on Christmas Eve night. But this year, we decided to do Christmas Day at lunch because just trying to get everybody's schedule to work out was kind of a challenge this year, and that seemed to be the best day for everybody. So anyway, so it was pretty nice. And then for my uncles, from my mom's side of the family that we do on Christmas Eve, for that one, we usually just do like a simple lunch, like everybody brings a little something, kind of deal for that one. And then for ours, we just did finger foods for lunch. We were just like, bring finger foods, and that's what we'll do. So anyway, so that's what we did. And so finger foods and just simple lunch at my uncle's. Oh, that was something else, is pray for my sister's health, but also for my mom's health. My mom has been having some stomach issues. She has been for some time now, but it comes and goes. But right after Christmas, she had just some really bad issues where she was constantly running to the restroom, and I'll leave it at that because she'll get upset if she finds out that I gave too many details. But yeah, so she was having some stomach issues right after Christmas, so she had to go to the doctor for that, and we're just kind of waiting to find out what the results of that was, because they actually, because I think it was her liver enzymes were, oh, I didn't do that yet. Because her liver enzymes were elevated, they went ahead and did a CT scan on her liver, to try and figure out what was going on there. And we haven't gotten the results of that CT scan yet, so just pray for her, that we're able to find out what's going on and that we're able to do something about it. What else? Yeah, so, some of the projects that we're hoping to get done in the coming year. We need a new chicken coop. So my plan was to buy the materials needed for a new chicken coop in the month of January with this next paycheck. So we've got that. because we desperately need a new chicken coop. And we're actually, we've downsized our flock quite a bit. We did have something like 19 chickens, and we are down to 9. I think somewhere between 6 and 9. Um, but anyway, and the hens that we have now, we've got some of them that are aging out, so we'll see what we want to do with those. But yeah, in the coming year, we had way more eggs than we could ever keep up with. I was actually giving them away to coworkers and all because I was selling them, but then it just got to the point where that was too much to keep up with, so I just ended up giving them away to coworkers and stuff like that, because we couldn't eat them all and I could not preserve them all, and so that's what we did with them. And then, so in the coming year, I think we're going to keep our flock number under 10. So the chicken coop that we are looking at having is going to be set for that number because we're not planning on having more than 10 if we have that many. So that's with the chickens. I'm also hoping in the coming year to be able to get a greenhouse kit and get that set up because I do have, I guess you would call it a tunnel type greenhouse that I have been working on out there. But I think it'll be good if we want to have like potted plants that we're trying to extend their growing season and all in the tunnel greenhouse. But I really wanted a nicer greenhouse set up to be able to start seeds in it with tables and a potting table and all of that. So we'll see if we get that done. We also intended to do an in-ground garden this spring, which means that I still have to move the raised beds out of the way. Those raised beds will be brought up here to the house and they will become our herb garden beds. So that's another project for the coming year, is to start an herb garden, and it will be culinary as well as medicinal. Because I am doing herbal medicine school through Homegrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine. So I am doing that. Let's see. I'm trying to think of and just getting trash from old projects cleaned up out of the yard, and getting our sheds cleaned out, and getting our feed and stuff moved over to the sheds so that it's out of the weather. Right now it's under our carport to keep it from getting rained on and things like that. So we want to clean out the sheds and get them in there. What else do we have going on? I'm trying to think. So the goat births in April, so we'll have new babies then. The turkeys should start laying this spring. And with that in mind, we are hoping to incubate turkey eggs, and we've got to get a brooder. What we have done in the past for baby chicks is we just have a big plastic tote that we put shavings in the bottom of it, and we have a heat lamp that we hook to the back of a chair, and it's just in our living room floor. But if we're successful with the turkeys, then we really want to get a brooder, some type of brooder. So, because with the turkeys, the whole intent behind the turkeys is that we could breed them, and we already have a neighbor friend. He's my homestead mentor. You've heard me talk about him, Blaine. He is interested in buying some of our turkey pullets when we have some. And then we thought we might try to sell some of those. It's not going to bring in a whole lot of income. It's more like pocket change, but it's something. And then we were also hoping to be successful enough that some of those we would be able to grow out and be able to send to freezer camp in the fall of next year. So, and then with that, with the turkey meat, we hope to be able to share that. We hope to have enough to be able to share with my mom and my sisters and their households, as well as have some for our household to go in our freezer. So, be looking for that. We'll see if we're actually successful with the turkeys. But they have to make it through this Arctic blast first. So they have to make it through the winter first. And hopefully they will be, they will start breeding in the spring. So there's that. And then we don't have a rooster. So we don't intend to breed our chickens. They're just for eggs, but anyway, so if we're successful for that, that'll be in the coming year. Then another thing that we've been tossing back and forth is we tried to get out of the rabbits because we went a whole year with no rabbit babies being born, despite the fact that the rabbits were completely loose with the male, and there were no babies. So I don't know what happened with that, but because of that, we kind of tried to get away from the rabbits. But we have been considering doing rabbits again, and we found out that we don't particularly like the taste of rabbit. It just was not our cup of tea, and it may have been the way we were cooking them or something like that, but we just really didn't care for the taste of the rabbit. But we have been watching some videos on like homemade cat and dog food. So we were thinking that maybe we could raise them for that, and see. So we still have to explore that idea more. So that idea is nothing set in stone with that one, because we still need to do some more research, and we really need to decide if we want to get back into the rabbits. We started out with one Finnish giant male and a couple of New Zealand females, and then we tried to switch over to Tamuks, but nothing ever came out of the Tamuks, and then we just decided to go away from them altogether. But if we do decide to pick up the rabbits again, and use them as food for the dogs and the cats, for the homemade animal food, then we will probably go with New Zealand's. That's what we've been discussing anyway, so we'll see about that. I don't know, I guess it's because the rabbits are cute and fluffy, but I really had a hard time with culling the rabbits. I don't have that issue when it comes to chickens and turkeys and stuff like that, but I guess it's just because the rabbits are cute and fluffy. And I really struggled with that. I mean, I got the job done, but it really tore me up as far as emotionally. But then again, if you ever get to the point where that kind of stuff doesn't bother you, then you probably don't need to be doing it anymore. But anyway, yeah, I don't have a problem with doing it with culling turkeys or chickens. I've done that several times with no issue. But the rabbits, which also, with that in mind, I've also had to consider how would I do if we ever started doing that with our goats. Because we've talked about that too, because we have Palmer out there. We have talked about possibly culling him, and seeing how that goes. I don't know though. As a farmer and as a homesteader who is trying very hard to be self-sufficient and provide our own food and everything like that, I feel like it's one of those skills that you really, I, maybe it's just for me, but I feel like that's a skill that I really need to be able to learn and be able to do, even though I don't particularly like it. And when it comes to the rabbits, it really it bothers me with the rabbits. Like, again, turkeys and chickens are no problem, but something about the cute and fluffy animals is really hard for me. But like I said, I feel like being able to provide that that food source for our family, I feel like that is something I need to be able to do because we don't have anybody else to do it for us. And that's another topic that I could kind of chit chat about. Is I was actually talking with my coworker about it over Christmas, and we were kind of laughing about relationships and dating and that sort of thing, and I told her that it was all in jest, so it, nothing serious. We were just joking around, but I told her that I needed to find a man that was more manly than me, because. And I said, and I say that because of the lifestyle that we live here and the fact that I don't have, my dad passed away 10 years ago, so I don't have my dad around to ask for these sorts of things. And I'm not married. I don't have any brothers. The uncles that I have are kind of getting on up there in age, so they're not looking to do the kind of projects that I need done on a homestead, and a lot of my male cousins and everything have families of their own now. So I'm like, I don't have. I was like, I would have no problem being, the keeper of the home or that traditional female role in the household. I would have no problem with that. But the problem is that I don't have the masculine counterpart to that. So that means that I also have to fill that role as well. So we were just kind of laughing about that I needed a husband that was more manly than I was. So that was what we were joking around. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If the Lord decides to give me that, then hallelujah. If not, then we'll just keep going. But the homesteading lifestyle is the lifestyle that I feel drawn to, that I feel like the Lord has put on my heart to do. I'm sure you guys have probably heard the phrase or read the phrase that I used to think I was born in the wrong timeline or the wrong era because I was interested in all this old-fashioned stuff. But then I realized that I was born to keep the old-fashioned skills alive. And that's truly how I feel about it. I feel very drawn to the homesteading lifestyle and the self-sufficient lifestyle. And so I really feel like if the Lord does have somebody out there for me, then that is also the lifestyle that He will be drawn to. So we'll see. But anyway, off that rabbit trail. Let's get off that rabbit trail. Yeah, so that's how things have been going here, and that's what we've been up to. And I'm not getting anything done on this sucker other than pinning these pieces down to the fabric. So I guess I'm gonna have to close out this video. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you like the videos and if you like our channel, then please subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and share us with other people who might be interested. I don't claim to be anything fascinating or interesting to watch, but if you enjoy our videos and our channel, then please come back for more. And I really do hope to share some of our new projects in the new year, and I hope that you guys do have a wonderful New Year's. Let me know in the comments or something if you intend to stay up till midnight to watch the ball drop. We have not the last couple of years, because I am an early to bed, early to rise kind of person. So I would not call myself a morning person, because I am not a morning person if I don't get enough sleep the night before. So if I want to be up early, I have to go to bed early. So that's just me. But anyway, so we have not stayed up to watch the ball drop, or at least I haven't the last couple of years. So I don't know if I will do that this year or not. Oh, and a shout out to my Aunt Cosette. Today's her birthday. So happy birthday, Aunt Cosette. I hope it's a good one. And I just wish you guys the best, and we'll see you on the next video.